Hi, I'm Zach Vandenberg, Doctor of Physical Therapy here at Excel Physical Therapy in Oshkosh. Many people are trying to get outside and be more active. As you look to get out and run, bike, hike, or do whatever it is that you like to do to stay active, I'd like to share with you some foundational stretches that keep you safe while doing so. Stretching is a vital way to reduce risk of injury and to stay moving as well as you can. First thing that we're going to talk about is the hamstring. Hamstring stretch can be done in a variety of positions. We'll start standing first. So I'm going to have you stick your heel out, sit back, hinge at the hip, and hold there. Chest is up, reaching down towards your toes, feeling a nice stretch in the back of the leg. And you're going to hold that position. Stretching is best done if you can hold it for about 20 or 30 seconds. Okay, that's one variation on that. If you feel like you need a bit more support, feel free to sit down during that. So you can pull up a chair, and it's the same exact position. So for the seated hamstring stretch, what you want to do is scoot to the edge of your chair, stick your leg out, and again, it's chest towards the toe. We're looking to keep a straight back with this. If you're rounding your back, you're not going to feel it as much in the back of your leg. Straight back, really hinging from the hip and holding there. Another great way that you can stretch your hamstrings, you can hit both at the same time by bending down and touching your toes. If you're bending down with the legs straight, small bend in the knee, you're able to do that and get a stretch to the back of the leg. So that will be your hamstring stretch. If you're looking more to stretch the low back, what you're going to do is bend the knees all the way down and fold over. You're trying to relax into the stretch so that your belly is resting on the top of your thighs and just hang. That's a really nice way to get a stretch to the low back area. You can do that same stretch in a seated position. Knees come out wide. You're going to bend down, and again, you're going to hang there. All right, next we're going to do a quad stretch. That is the muscle running down the front of the thigh. So it's best if you can do it holding on to something so you don't have to worry about your balance. You can relax into the stretch more. You're going to bring the heel back behind your bottom and you're going to pull. So the knee is bending, keeping the hip from coming forward and popping up. You want to keep the hip back, knee bent, chest up, and you're going to hold just like that. So we've done the quad stretch. That's going to stretch the front of the thigh. If you want to stretch a little bit closer to the front of the hip, that's going to be your hip flexor stretch. The leg that you're stretching is going to be behind. You step forward. You want to tuck your pelvis in a little bit so that your tailbone drops down and shift forward. Again, to have something to hold on to for balance is nice. And you're going to shift forward and feel that stretch right through the front of the thigh area. So we've talked about the hip flexor stretch and the hamstring stretch. Now I want to combine those. It's nice to actually do a bit of stretching without doing just the long holds. Actually, stretching with movement can be a really nice way to warm up and again, get the muscles ready for quickly moving. So we're going to return to that hip flexor position, shift forward, I'm stretching into the front of my hip, and then I'm going to rock back my heels. Now I'm stretching the hamstring on my right. And again, come forward to get the hip flexor on the left. And I'm going to shift. Now it's important to note that I'm not doing this quickly and I'm not doing it to my extremes. I'm going till I feel a gentle stretch and shifting between those two areas. We're going to stretch the calf next. So for your calf stretch, again, find something to hold on to. The foot in the back is going to be the calf that you're stretching. So in this case, it's my left foot. I'm going to keep my heel planted into the ground, shift forward until I start to feel the stretch in the back of my calf. Now, notice my knee is straight forward. That way you get the stretch more in the top of the calf. If I go to bend my knee, the stretch moves to the lower calf. You want to hold either one of those positions. So if I'm aiming at stretching the lower calf, I'm going to hold it with the knee bent. If I'm aiming to stretch the upper calf, I want to reset, knee straight, shift forward, and now I'm stretching the upper calf. Okay, so we're looking now to stretch the inner thigh. To get that, you can lunge out to the side, and you're just going to sink back and down. That's going to stretch in along the inner thigh there. If you need a little bit more support again, you can shift and you can do a seated position. It's going to be similar to the hamstring stretch, but you're going to go out a bit, and you're going to just sink down into that until you feel the stretch on the inner thigh. Now, I mentioned before, if you're looking to do a quicker movement, to do sort of that stretching with movement, you can do this. Is a really nice one to do with kind of a side lunge. You feel that stretch, and you can come back. If you feel confident with that piece, you can even do a little bit of both sides, and you can shift one way or the other, getting a nice stretch in both sides. To stretch the outside of the hip, if you take a seat and you can cross the ankle over your opposite knee, and there you can find a stretch in the outside of your hip. Now, feel free to find whichever angle variation suits you best. If you feel a little bit more stretch with the knee up, feel free to do that. You can lean forward a tad. Try to play around with it, whatever works for you, really, to get the stretch that you feel like you need. Another really nice stretch to do in seating that pairs really nicely is to, again, get that low back area. You're going to hang down, and you can add a bit of a twist with that. So the way I like to do it is I'm reaching towards one side, the opposite hand comes to the knee, and I'm going to press away. There I get a little bit of a rotation in my back, a nice stretch along the side here. And come out of that slowly. The next one is a movement that actually stretches many different things. We're going to do a back bend. So hands are going to go just at the top of where you'd wear your belt, so just kind of supporting the back there. You're going to get a slight bend, reaching back, and you should feel a nice stretch through the back as well as through the front of the shoulder and the chest. So again, I'll show you. It doesn't have to be a large movement, and you're supporting your back down at the hands. And you come on back. All right, the next stretch is a shoulder stretch. So what you're going to do is reach across your body. I'm grasping my hand around my elbow, reaching across. I get a nice stretch here in the shoulder as well as the mid and upper back. It's important that here you're paying attention to your posture. So shoulders back and down, a gentle pull across and hold. As a variation of that, you can actually hit both sides at the same time if you'd like. I like to clasp my hands straight forward. I'm just going to reach forward and round my upper back, and I get a stretch through the mid back there, as well as a bit into the shoulders. Okay, so you can also get a shoulder stretch and a tricep stretch by bringing the arm elbows close to the ear. You're going to support it, reaching back, and there I get a stretch between my shoulder as well as the tricep. And you're going to bring it down. The next one I like to talk about is a neck stretch. Now with the neck, I don't like to overcomplicate things if you're just doing a general warm-up. So if you just set your shoulders back and down and you start with gentle side to side, or you can do circles if you like. Generally, if you're going to stretch this way, it's best to start with smaller circles, trying to find the end range of where you start to feel a gentle pull and slowly making your way around with the stretch. To get a little bit more stretch out of your upper trap muscle, find something to anchor it down, whether it's a chair or you can hold on to just to the edge of the counter. Here I'm going to show you holding the edge of the chair. I'm anchoring my arm down, shoulder back, I'm going to give a slight side bend away from my arm. And there I feel the stretch down my upper trap, just above the shoulder here. Now you can, if you'd like a little bit more of that, bring the opposite arm on top of the head. I'm not pulling, I'm just letting really the weight of my arm here give me a little extra pull. Hold that, come out of it slowly. All right, next I'd like to share with you some hip stretches, but with a variation where you're actually on the floor. So, you're gonna find yourself sitting, and I'm gonna show you another stretch for the outside of the hip here. You're gonna cross that ankle over the knee, find yourself on the back, reach around to get the underside of the leg, and pull back. Now, if you don't get enough stretch with that and you're a little more flexible, you can reach to the front of the shin and pull back from there. All right, so now I'm going to actually combine a back and a hip stretch. You're going to bring one leg over the other, take one hand across the outside of the knee, drop down. As this hand holds and stabilizes here, you're going to take the opposite arm and reach across, dropping it down to the floor. Take a deep breath in, and as you breathe out, twist a little bit deeper. So here you get the nice stretch through the outside of the hip as well as your low back twisting. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is a chest stretch. I want you to find the corner of a wall. You're going to bring your forearm, rest it here on the wall, and turn the body out to feel a nice stretch through the chest. You may have to adjust that a little bit to kind of find the sweet spot you want in your stretch. Walk the arm up a bit, turn out. Another variation is you can bring the palm and turn the whole body out, and you should get a stretch through the chest, front of the shoulder, and maybe a bit into the bicep there. Again, finding that spot that's the sweet spot, holding, and feeling that nice stretch. So with all those stretches that I showed you, what I want you to remember is that when you're holding the stretch, you're going to find the position, you're going to ease into it. There's no need to push any further than what's just past where you start to feel the stretch, okay? It should be a relaxing sensation. I want you to find that position and hold it for up to 30 seconds. Okay, so I shared a number of stretches today with you. Now, just realize that not every stretch that I shared may be for you or meet your individual needs. So, if you're having any pain or any issues with that, don't hesitate to give us a call here at Excel Physical Therapy, and I hope you have a great day.